Stephen, first of all, great job on the movie. Saw it last night. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Because I'm a diehard G.I Joe fan myself. So.
Oh, good.
But first of all, I got to ask you the obvious question. Were you a fan growing up?
I wasn't, actually. I grew up with a 12-inch guy. I'm older than you are. So I didn't know anything about Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow. And in fact, when Paramount came to me originally, I was kind of like, well, you know, I don't really have any ideas for that guy, the 12-inch guy. And then some assistants in my office were like, no, my God, you don't know G.I Joe? And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And they said, come on. And they took me to a toy store in Santa Monica. And seriously, I saw all these toys. I thought, well, this is interesting. And then, strangely enough, my agent is a huge fan, and he has all the comic books from 1 to whatever it is, and they're all in the little plastic seals and this and that. And he gave me the whole box because he got so excited about doing the movie. And then reading that, I thought, oh my God, this is such a big, exciting world. And for a director, it's like, you know, it was amazing.
Well, being that you weren't as familiar as many others on G.I. Joe, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a director making this movie?
The biggest one, people always think, well, you know, you got to, all the diehard fans, you got to make sure you please them. But we had Larry Hama, who created the whole thing and wrote all the comic books, or not all of them, but and then all the people at Hasbro. There's a core group of people who are diehard fans, and guys and girls, and they've been the keepers of the flame for like 25 years. So they just helped me out a lot, and it was very collaborative. So I knew that I was going to be able to please the hardcore fans. So after that, I think the hardest thing is always coming up with a perfect cast. It was. You know, we made this thing, it's a big global enterprise, and I had to get actors from I don't know how many different countries. And so really it was casting. That was the main thing. Once I got the cast right, that takes a lot of pressure off the director.
Well, what about as far as the filmmaking process was concerned? What were some of the hard parts in that? I mean, because, you know, the toys and the comics, you know, all these cool, fantastic vehicles and the technology that was available. What were some of the challenges in the filmmaking process?
Every sequence had its own unique challenges. I mean, that's part of when I'm coming up with all these ideas. I try to challenge myself and come up with, I don't want it to be repetitive. Like if you're gonna have 2 car chases in a movie, don't make them similar in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So, and probably technically the chase sequence through Paris. I was reading something on the internet, and they were saying, oh, it's all CG, and I'm like, no, actually, very little of it is CG. We shot in Paris. We had cameras all over the place, and we shot so much of it, and people on motorcycles and trucks, and all the, you know, Rachel got on a motorcycle, and Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes were in the truck. And so, but that took over 1,000 hours of prep and trying to figure out how to do that. And it's one of those things I sit around my whole crew shot by shot, trying to figure out how do we pull this off.
You've got 2 beautiful women in the film, and of course you've got Byun-hun as well, who is a heartthrob out here in Asia. How do you think the female fans, if any, are going to take to this film?
Oh, I think they're going to love it. I learned on the first Mummy movie, for some reason, I really wanted it to be very romantic, and we learned afterwards, I think the studio thought it was going to be an all-boys movie. Yeah, it's a Mummy movie, it's all boys, and we found out that girls and women liked it as much and went to it even more often than the boys and men. And so that was enlightening to me, and I have 2 daughters, so I really want to make movies that make them happy. Right. And that's what, another thing was, as soon as I discovered this world, I thought, I love romances. And I realized, oh my God, there's these beautiful women, I can have great romances. And so we have a comic romance, a tragic romance. We have, it's very female empowering. We have 2 women who are smarter than the men.
Absolutely.
And just as tough. And so, and they go at it. So I just think it's really a fun ride. I think girls and women are gonna like it just as much as boys or men.
Well, Stephen, great job. Perfect casting as far as I'm concerned. If you ever need to cast anyone from Hong Kong, then Dominic Lau's available. You know, Storm Shadow's long-lost cousin or something like that.
Thank you very much.